Good morning, ladies. How are you? Welcome to this week's training on Elevate Your Business. We again have new people in the group. So, hi guys, I'm so excited at how quickly this group is growing and evolving, and it's really amazing. The purpose of me building this community was to support women in business and to give you the tips and the tools and the what to do and the what not to do so that you can actually elevate your business, which is why I started this weekly training on elevating your business. And we pick different topics each week where we'll cover business and mindset, and we'll fluctuate between the two because they do both go hand in hand. Whether we like it or not, 95% of what we do is all to do with our mind and how we manage ourselves and how we view situations that are in front of us, because strategies are strategies, but we will never take the action if we're not able to manage our mind around it, which was a big learning for me. So for those of you that are new here, hi, I'm Johanne. I'm a business success coach, and I show female online business owners, so coaches, consultants, holistic therapists, how to build momentum in their business so that they can see consistent results. I'm all about the long-term game. Quick fixes bug the life out of me. You need to be building your business foundations and building your business from the ground up, and go at it layer by layer by layer so that you can have success. But not only that, so that you can actually have a long-term business, so that you can continue to go through if there's ever a recession, if there's any changes within the market, that you're able to course correct with them and be able to meet your audience where they're at is really, really important, rather than just looking for quick fixes and looking for quick cash injections. Cash injections are great, don't get me wrong, I love cash injections, but they don't want to be what your business model is. You want your business to be sustainable. So today what we're going to have a look at is why perfectionists go broke. I've heard there's a lot of rumblings in my industry at the moment, and there's so many people talking about perfectionism because we're seeing it more and 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 more. And I think it's really important that we talk about it because I've experienced it, my clients have experienced it, but you may not even know if this is your way of being, or if you're trying to sit in perfectionism and not even realize it. So I want to go through all of this with you today so that you can get a real sense of, well, what it is and am I doing it? And anything that I'm talking about, check in with yourself and go, okay, where does this apply to me? And what can I do about it to change that so that things work better for me? So anytime I'm ever doing trainings, it's always good to connect in with yourself and go, okay, what can I do with this? How can I apply this so that you can see the results that you want? So let's talk about perfectionism. I always talk about perfectionism being the exact same thing as procrastination. Why? Because it keeps you stuck. You're so stuck that you don't do anything, nothing. I'm delivering a training at the moment, and I did the same training a couple of weeks ago, and the same themes come up, is that no action is being taken until XYZ. The until X, Y, and Z can be until I feel ready. The XYZ can be until I have my program done up. The XYZ can be, well, until I've left my job. There's so many untils. That is perfectionism. Once you put a condition on something, you need something to be a certain way, to look a certain way, to flow a certain way, to generate a particular thing. That's perfectionism. We've been taught this, right? We've been taught, like, if you think about how many people out there in the world are in, like, amazing, we all know people in our circle that are just incredible. They're incredible humans, yet they're stuck in shitty jobs. They're stuck in shitty jobs because they're terrified to take another step or to go in a different direction, take another job, set up their own business. Why? Because they'll tell you they don't have a degree, they don't have a PhD, they don't have a master's, they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have whatever. This the world we live in right now has moved away from that, but unfortunately our education system has not. I believe in education, don't get me wrong, but years and years and years ago, like go back, even go back 20 years, well, actually no, probably more than that, 30 years, you needed a degree or some sort of a qualification to be able to move up in a business world. Fact. Fact. Places wouldn't hire you unless you had a degree. Look at the degrees and everything that exists right now. What do they teach you? Have they moved with the way of the world right now? Most of them have not. Do they actually support you in terms of you being able to move up the ranks in a job. No, why not? Because it's experience. Experience gives you that. Your application of your knowledge gives you that. Your application and adaptability gives you that. Your capability gives you that. Of course, there are certain jobs that absolutely you need to have a qualification for. Like if you're going to be a doctor, a surgeon, a dentist, all of them you absolutely do. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of general business sense, no, you don't. I have a degree, I have multiple qualifications in business. None of them have taught me what I know now. None. None of them. So if I had have sat in, well, actually, I need to go get another qualification so that I could have a successful business, I would have done nothing because there was no way in hell I was going back to study. Not a hope. But we know people that feel like they need another qualification before they can do this. So let's go back to the topic of today, perfectionism. Perfectionists go broke. What does that mean? If you're a business owner, or if you want to be a business owner, so you have a business idea and you haven't brought it to fruition yet, and you're sitting there and you're going, well, I'm going to wait until I have this, or I'm going to wait until this is done, or I'm going to wait until X, Y, and Z, you're sitting in perfectionism. Perfectionism is the number one killer of a business. There's so many factors in perfectionism. It is a killer. You've got to be able to move forward and take action and be messy without knowing what it's going to look like. If you're insisting on knowing how something needs to look before you do it, I'm telling you now, you're going to go broke. You are going to go broke. I have watched coaches and consultants try and map out their program, their offering, all of that stuff, get their website and everything up and running, and have that be perfect before they put themselves out there. The business world doesn't operate like that, and business and life keeps going whether you come with it or not. So you've got a choice whether or not you get on the train. If you're sitting in perfectionism, you will not get on that train. That train will just keep moving by you, and it will keep changing, and by the time you've created like your course, your program, your product, your service, whatever it is, and then you're ready to hop on board, you've already lost, because you've missed so much momentum along the way. The order in which things are done does actually matter, right? It does actually matter. And people do it backwards because we've been taught to do shit backwards, which drives me bananas. So if you are, let's talk about how perfectionism can come out, right? So procrastination for sure, right? You will second guess every decision that you make. Everything that you do, you'll second guess it, going, well, should I have done that? Or maybe I could have done this, or I should have asked this person, or you just second guess absolutely everything. Imagine what that does to your mind. It drives home and feeds into you not being good enough, you not being able to do this, and this is why it's not going to work. What's that going to feed into? Stopping you. Stopping you. It's a huge amount of hesitation when it comes to perfectionism, and there is incredibly poor decision making because you're making decisions based on your emotions. Whenever you make a decision based on how you feel, the decision is always a poor one. Always. Because our feelings change constantly. Our emotions change constantly. How we feel. Like if you watch a TV show, you could laugh, you could cry, you could be happy. All of those things in the space of a half an hour. Imagine if you were to make a decision based on you being happy and then the next minute you were to feel sad. What would you think about your decision then? If you were to make a decision in a moment of anger, which we have all done, what happens then when we come out of that anger? The cloud gets lifted and you're like, shit, that was a bad decision. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. When we take action and make decisions based on emotion, they're always poor. They're always really, really poor, and they will not get us what we want. But perfectionism makes us do that. You have got to want to divorce and break up with perfectionism. You've got to make that decision that you're going to say today, right, I'm filing the divorce papers on perfectionism, because you will go broke. Anything to do with perfectionism makes you super slow at what you do. You're slow in decisions, you're slow to take action. And you know what it leads to? It leads to massive overwhelm, because all you can see is everything rushing past you. You're not moving forward, nothing is happening for you, and then you just feel crap, which is awful. Like, that's an awful place to be in. Like, if you know that like you're the type of person right now, that your reality right now as well, you know, I need to be happy with what I'm putting out there. I need to make sure it's X, Y, and Z before I put it out there. How stressed do you get? How overwhelmed do you get? How anxious do you feel? And then when you put it out, how anxious do you feel? Like, what's your tension like in your body? You're just waiting. You're waiting on something to go wrong. You're waiting on, the wheels to fall off or the handle to fall off. You're just waiting on something to go wrong. You have got to want to divorce perfectionism. It is a killer. It is an absolute killer. Those people that are flying past you and like running past you, they're allowing themselves to be messy. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by being messy? It means that you're willing to take imperfect action. It means that if you get an idea, you're going to act on it. You will ask yourself 2 questions. Number 1, will this get me to where I want to go? Yes or no? And number 2, does it fit with my morals? They're the only questions that you ever get to ask yourself. I teach this to my clients all the time. These words are spoken every day by me. Will it get me to where I want? And does it fit with my morals? Not how do I feel about it. How you feel about it is completely irrelevant. Most people don't want to believe that. Most people don't want to do that and will make up every excuse and every story as to why their feelings around this are so important. You can be right about this, or you can be happy and get what you want. There's nothing in between. Ask yourself this, right? If you're not sure whether or not you're a perfectionist, here's some questions to ask yourself. Do you delegate, or do you create reasons why you don't delegate? I know I did, right? There's no doubt about that. I did. I was like, well, you're not going to do it right. I'm going to have to do it again anyway. That's perfectionism. That was me. That was little old me. Do you over deliver because you feel like you're not giving enough? Do you give way too much because you feel like you're not giving enough? If you have a business right now, are you coaching people or giving your services away for free? Why? If you're doing that, is it because you feel like you're not ready yet? Who's going to pay for this? You don't have a qualification. The list could keep going on. But is that what you're saying? If you are, you're sitting in perfectionism. Do you stop and completely self-sabotage when you are not 100% consistent with something? I was sharing this with one of my clients yesterday and she's like, what? She will go into a spiral of where when something isn't going right, she goes down, right? But she keeps going down and keeps going down. Everybody's journey is like this, right? It's like a heartbeat. It's literally like a heartbeat. We go up, we go down. We go up, we go down. We go up, we go down. We go up and down with our emotions. We're also humans, right? So we're not meant to be devoid of emotions. But we go up and down with our emotions. But also, when we go up, something kicks in that we weren't prepared for. So like, something will happen in life. And because we're not managing our mind and because it's not perfect, we drop. And then we start making poor decisions again. And we keep going like this, right? What I shared with her yesterday is, and this is what most people don't accept, they might be aware of it, but they're not accepting it, is it takes 3 weeks to break a habit. This we know, this is nothing new. This 21 days is everywhere, right? So we know this. It's 3 weeks to break a habit. It takes 6 weeks to instill a new one. You might also be saying, okay, yeah, I know that. Do you know how long it takes to become an automation for you? So something that you naturally do without even thinking. 36 weeks. 36, that's more than 6 months. So I think I worked out yesterday, it's something like 8.5 months. So 8.5 months for a new habit, right? Or something that you're adjusting in your life to become automated for you. So like as automated as in your brain kicks in and says, I need to go to the toilet. There you go, before you go to the toilet. Or I'm hungry, I eat. Or my leg is dead, I stand up. My head is itchy, I scratch it, right? That kind of automation. 36 weeks is what it takes. So your habits, if your way of being right now is to say, well, right, I need things to be perfect until I do X, Y, Z, or I need to have this before I do this. I need to have money before I invest in myself. Worst decision people will ever make. Ever make. I don't care what your excuse is. That is the worst decision you will ever make. Because how are you going to ever have the money to invest in yourself if you don't know how to do it? You're not. What you're doing is you're waiting to be ready. What you're doing is you're saying, I don't actually believe in myself that I'm going to be able to do this to make the money back. That's what you're really saying. That's perfectionism. People that live and breathe by these mottos will go broke. Will go broke. I'm watching it time and time again. Time and time again from people sitting, holding back, waiting, not doing the work, not delegating out what doesn't, never mind what doesn't light them up, but will physically drain the life out of them. Like if you were to ask me to sit and do admin, don't do it. I won't do it. I will not do it. It actually hurts my face. It hurts my face so much I will avoid. I would nearly throw my laptop out the window than do it. Not for me. Therefore, I delegate it to other people. To be successful, not just in business, but in life, you've got to be very aware of how you're showing up for yourself and how you're showing up for other people. Because after awareness comes acceptance. Awareness is one thing, but you've got to accept that this is how you're currently showing up and how it's not working for you. If you say to yourself, how many of you out there say this, because this is one for me, is I'm doing my best, but yet my best isn't good enough. How many of you have said that to yourself? I guarantee you all have. Do you know where that comes from? And this is what drives perfectionism too. Go back to when you were in school. Your parents may have said to you, as long as you do your best is good enough. You would say to yourself, I'm doing my best. And how many times would you be shown over and over and over again that your best was not good enough? You may have been trying to get onto a sports team and you were doing your best, but it just didn't get you there. You may have been working. I was one of those ones that, tell you a story. Languages was something that I really struggled with. Really, really struggled with. Maths, got it, which is so weird, right? Because I'm not logical thinking and me don't really go hand in hand. But maths, I was amazing at. Languages, not so much. I tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried when it came to German. I got extra classes. I stayed back on my lunch break. I stayed back after school with my German teacher. And the volume of effort I put in, I wasn't getting any return. What did I constantly hear? She's really trying, but she's not getting it. Whenever you have that add-on at the end, or somebody's actions don't follow through on what their wording is, that is driving that into your mind. Your subconscious, right, is like, look at my hair, right? It's like the hair being pulled back, right? So say this is attached to the chair here, right? This is like your subconscious. It's pulling you back whether you realize it or not. It is driving everything that's going on. So if you think it's going to take 36 weeks for you to instill like a new belief or habit, for this to be able to pull away and no longer pull you back, you've got to keep repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. Don't let perfectionism be the reason that you don't take action and that you are not successful. It isn't how you are. You can choose to change that. You can choose to adapt, but you've got to make the decision to do it. You can't go, well, I'll wait until the kids go back to school and then I'll do it. No, that's perfectionism. Because you're waiting until it feels good, right? Until you're ready, until all those fun things. No. Just make decisions on two things. Number one, will it get me to where I want to be, yes or no? And number two, does it fit with my morals? And I want to be very clear on morals, right? Morals or not, is it aligned with me? Because this is something that drives me spatty, right? Absolutely spatty. To work in alignment with yourself is not about you feeling good, right? I want to be very clear about this because I don't think it's always explained very well. Working in alignment with yourself means that you have a vision, and the vision is so clear, like you can see it so clearly in your mind how it is all going to be, and you can really feel it in your body. Like you can feel the love, you can feel the warmth, you can feel the energy, like it's in your body, right? Completely in your body. Working in alignment is working towards that vision. Working in alignment is not every step that you take is going to feel comfortable, because it's not. It's really not. I take uncomfortable steps every day because my vision is where I'm going. Do I fight myself sometimes on them? Of course. I'm human. I'm a human being. Of course I do. There's times where like I'll be on the phone to my coach and I'll be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't see how this is going to work. I feel so scared. I feel so uncomfortable. It's bringing up all these things for me. And I get coaching through it. That's how you move past these things, not by sitting there and trying to figure it out by yourself, because that doesn't work. I lone wolfed for a very long time before I went, you know what, Joanne? You're not going to be able to figure this out on your own. It's just not going to happen. Because how could it? Number one, I needed accountability, because we all do. And number two, I can't know what I don't know, right? But also, we all have these blind spots of where we fall back into our old patterns and our old habits and our old ways that just don't work for us. We can't always see it. So we need somebody to point it out to us. So reflect on all of this. And if you are sitting in perfectionism, make the decision right now to do something about it, and know that you get to work on this every single solitary day, because if it's in your business, it's in your life. If it's in your life, it's in your relationships. If it's in your relationships, it's in your health. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. So you've got to be very aware of how it is that it's appearing in your life. What is it that you're doing and not doing that is bringing up the perfectionism, so that you can know what it is. So we will leave it there for today. So yeah, just work on this and reflect on this, and go back over what the perfectionist tendencies are for you, and make the decision to divorce from it and move forward. I'll see you next week.